Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please kindly request you to be seated. We are going to start our conference. Please be seated.
Before we start the session, I would like to call upon Mr. Sanu Hindu from Bhutan, Mr. Bharat Mani Subed from Bhutan, and Mr. Prakash Garan from Nepal. He takes it at the detail. Mr. Bharat Mani Subed from Bhutan, from Nepal. Mr. Prakash Garan from Nepal. We are going to start the first academic session now. We are going to have 3 presentations to this session, 2 from Nepal and 1 from Bhutan. So the presenters are ready to their presentation. First, I would like to ask Mr. Karma. His names are difficult to pronounce. Mr. Karma, ready to make his presentation. Before that, I would like to mention that first we have 3 presentations. Then after three presentations, we are going to have a discussion. That is the way we have arranged this session. So I would like to call upon Mr. Karma Kishin to make his presentation.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Respected sir, participants from the member countries, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, on behalf of my country, that's Bhutan, and on my own behalf, I'd like to immensely thank SAARC Culture Center, Sri Lanka, and the organizers for kindly inviting us for this conference and for your kind hospitality. Well, to introduce myself clearly, my name is Kamatanzan. I'm working as an architect under the Division for Conservation of Heritage Sites under the Department of Culture, Ministry of Home and Culture Affairs. And I would like to introduce 2 of my colleagues from Bhutan. He is Mr. Sangeet Deduk, Culture Property Officer from the Department of Culture. And he is Mr. Sangeet Hinda, working on the Division for Conservation of Heritage Sites. None of us are professionals in archaeology, but we are from various professions who are working towards executing archaeology projects in Bhutan. So currently we do not have professionals in archaeology, but we do have undergraduates and PhD students, and they will be shortly joining our office. Well, my presentation I have here is basically towards more towards current scenario and status of archaeology in Bhutan. So I have a PowerPoint presentation, and I'd like to present that. Thank you. The Division for Conservation of Heritage Sites under the Department of Culture. So the DCHS office, the Division for Conservation of Heritage Sites office, is the key office responsible for the conservation, promotion and development of heritage sites in the country, including archaeological sites in the country. As I always said, we have a lack of archaeology professionals in Bhutan. So currently, archaeology projects in Bhutan are executed under the Bhutan Swiss Archaeology Project with an aim to institutionalize archaeology in Bhutan. So I'd like to talk on Bhutan Swiss Archaeology Project, how it initiated. So the first phase of the Bhutan Archaeology Project The understanding between the royal government of Bhutan and Swiss Switzerland Foundation of Archaeological Research Abroad, that is SLSA, it's a Swiss foundation on archaeology, represented by Helvetia Swiss Incorporation Bhutan, was established in the year 2008 to jointly execute archaeology projects with an objective to institutionalize archaeology in Bhutan under the name of Bhutan Swiss Archaeology Projects. So the first archaeology project in Bhutan was executed in the year 2008 under the Bhutan Swiss Archaeology Project, as I already mentioned. That is the scientific excavation of Drapam Dzong ruin. Drapam Dzong is a fortress ruin. So I'd like to talk briefly on the first project that we undertook, that's Drapam Dzong ruin excavation. So this is the first ever archaeology project executed in our country. So the excavation work has started in the year 2008. And this project has spanned over 3 years. So our main objective of this the Drapam Dzong ruin excavation is to institutionalize archaeology in Bhutan through building human resource capacity. And the second one is to do the architectural survey of the structure. In this, the main thing why we did this excavation is to study and compare the fortress structure, since we have so many fortresses of different times. And the third objective is to do the excavation, documentation, analysis and interpretation of archaeological site. We have currently we have completed the first stage project, and then the report is yet to be published, and then the interpretation of the excavation is yet to be done. The fourth objective of our first archaeology project in Bhutan is the project as the current project as the model for display and conservation of archaeological heritage in Bhutan. And the fifth one is to create awareness on the importance of archaeology within the country. So this is the site, the ruin site of the Drapam Dzong, the fortress. So if I briefly go through the Drapam Dzong excavation project that we have executed, the Drapam Dzong, that's the name of the fortress ruin, is situated in somewhere in the center of Bhutan. We call this Bundang Valley. So the exact position is 27 degree, and then the height approximately is 2,930 meters above the sea level. So according to this picture is the aerial view of the Drapam Dzong ruin after an excavation. I think I will leave this part because it's boring. This is the site, the ruin site of this is the ruin site of an archaeological site. This was before an excavation. In the year 2007, when the first team went to survey the site, it was all covered with the forest, and hardly we could walk through and then see. We could hardly see anything there. Only the ruins, a few walls, masonry walls, and all. Then this was in the year 2008. We have started clearing and cutting the debris, which was forested, and then this was in 2009 where we excavated the main structure in between. This is the main structure in between the whole courtyard. It's a courtyard type structure like what our fortresses are usually like. These are the finds from our excavation. We have potteries and all. These are thoroughly documented, but then the report and interpretation part is yet to be done. So we are actually expecting to complete our report within this year. These are animal bones and human bones. These are the finds from the excavation site. These files are from, these are potteries. These are joint team working drill and excavation. These are remains of timber structure that floor joists be in the structure, and then the part and then the wooden part we have taken it for dating, carbon dating in Switzerland. These are animal bones and finds. The porcelain glass. And these are one of the bangles. So from the finds at first instance we are not able to interpret because we don't have any other sources where we can compare our finds. So as of now we have documented it, and then we are actually making a research, studying and comparing with the ancient history. So this is the first project that we have executed under Bhutan Swiss Archaeology project, and from the phase 2, the project period is from 2011 to 2013. The main goal is to contribute towards strengthening and institutionalization of archaeology in Bhutan, because as of now the Division of Conservation of Heritage Sites is executing archaeology works, and we don't have archaeology section or department of archaeology as of now. So we are aiming towards institutionalization of archaeology in Bhutan. So the expected outcomes of this phase 2 will be the presentation of proposal rate, which I have already presented to you briefly, as the model for display and conservation of archaeological heritage in Bhutan. So this report is yet to be published and interpreted. The second expected outcome is to institutionalization of archaeology in Bhutan, as I already mentioned. And then the third one is the professional management of diverse and fragile archaeological sites in Bhutan, because this has really come into the need due to so many developmental activities now taking rapidly in our country. We really need to map our sites, because these are somehow destroyed during the new constructions. So now with the objective to institutionalize archaeology in Bhutan, currently our office, in collaboration with our Swiss counterparts, are training in-house technicians such as relevant cultural officers and engineers in the field of archaeology. So we have also initiated with the Certificate of Advanced Studies program consisting of 12 modules of training in the field of archaeology. This CES program was successfully launched by conducting educational awareness workshop in 2011. Then we even trained cultural officers and engineers on rescue excavation in 2011. We have in last year we have conducted legal aspects of archaeology, and then a training on field survey in 2012. So therefore, now setting up of an archaeological unit under our division has become very much important, and even the development of an archaeological monitoring network and development of archaeological zone plan. So under the professional management of diverse and fragile sites in Bhutan, we have proposed activities yet to be executed under the phase 2. So we are under the phase 2 now. What we are going to do is we are going to map and to do inventory of all archaeological sites in the country, then determining possible future archaeological projects, even determining phase mineral sites that could be presented as a part of Bhutan's heritage tourism. So my presentation is only this much because this is the current scenario and the status in the country. We really need to work, and then I hope you will learn a lot from this conference. Thank you.
Presentation on Archaeology of Bhutan. I think I will be able to absorb the small points of presentation. So I would like to invite the next presentation, Mr. Bharat Mani Subed. So he is going to do this presentation on archaeological activities in the birthplace of Buddha and his homeland Colombo. I invite him to make his presentation.
I'm Bharat Subedi from Nepal. I'm working in the Department of Archaeology. From my country, two people are representing here. Me, myself, I'm going to present archaeological activity in the birthplace of Buddha and his homeland in Kapilvastu. And my colleague, Mr. Dharna, is going to present the maternal home of the Buddha site. So my presentation will be more focused on three stages. What we did in the past, beginning of the archaeology in Nepal, and what we did in between, and what is the recent discovery in the birthplace of Buddha and his homeland Kapilvastu. So I would like to start my presentation from the very beginning stage of the archaeological activity in Nepal, what it was before, and what it was in between, and what we did recently after the 90s or after 2000. Next. So basically archaeological activity started in Lumbini and Kapilvastu. Lumbini, as you know, the birthplace of Buddha, and Kapilvastu region in 1895 and 96, when the Khalqa Shamsher army journal at that time, and A. Furar, other archaeologists from Archaeological Survey of India, discovered Ashokan pillar first in Lumbini, and he declared that Lumbini is the birthplace of Lord Buddha. After Furar, Mukherjee explored and excavated Lumbini and Tilorakot during the 18th Tilorakot, the homeland of Buddha, the Lumbini where Buddha was born. Explored and excavated Lumbini and Tilorakot during 1898 and 99. In 1901, P.C. Mukherjee published a report and proved that Tilorakot is the birthplace of area of ancient Kapilvastu and Lumbini is the birthplace of Buddha. In the very beginning, then one first archaeological attempt was made in Nepal, and there was confusion. There was no any clear picture about these things. And from the very beginning, when the archaeologists started about the archaeological activity, and they declared that on the basis of Ashokan period and other reference, they declared that Lumbini, the birthplace of Buddha, Lumbini is the birthplace of Buddha, and Tilorakot, Kapilvastu. Tilorakot is the capital city, and Kapilvastu is the name of the district, is the homeland of Lord Buddha. In 1952, Department of Archaeology was established by the government of Nepal for the exploration, excavation and conservation of the archaeological activities. Those activities done by Furar and Khalqa Shamsher was before the establishment of the Department of Archaeology. Later on, government realized and established the department of a separate Department of Archaeology for the exploration, excavation and conservation of archaeological activities. Then systematically study started from the Department of Archaeology with the help of the foreign experts and national experts. What I am going to mention here is that in the 1895 to 1901, the activity was first initiation activity was started by the Indian scholar P.C. Mukherjee, A. Furar, and they established that the Lumbini is the birthplace of Lord Buddha and Kapilvastu is the hometown, and then after up to the 1962, there was no archaeological activity. Although Department of Archaeology was established in 1952, but up to 1962 there was no any major activity regarding the excavation and archaeological activity in Nepal. So then Lumbini is used. Just I would like to go back the history. Just I already mentioned that Lumbini was discovered by Forer and Kharta Shamsher, and before that, after the death of Buddha, and for many years, Lumbini used to be after the death of Buddha, Lumbini used to be a pleasant garden for the people of Kapilvastu and Devta in pre-Christian era. And after the Buddha, Lumbini became a great pilgrimage center. Definitely, it became a great pilgrimage center for the Buddhists. Then Ashoka, Indian Empire, visited Lumbini in 249 BC and erected a stone pillar at the spot where Buddha was born and inscribed an inscription on the pillar. And he mentioned that this is the place where Buddha was born. He clearly spelled out the place where Buddha was born. And after Ashoka, Fayan, Chinese traveler, Yun Chan, Chinese traveler, and the Ripumalla, a king, then king from the western part of the Nepal, visited Lumbini, and up to the 13th century, it was there was a human activity, and people considered that that was the birthplace of the Buddha. But after the 13th century, the birthplace of Buddha gradually turned into a dense forest. There was no any activity. Up to the 13th century, there was a human activity, and people were used to visit and like that. And but after the 13th century, the birthplace of Buddha gradually turned into dense forest, and the memory of the Lumbini slowly disappeared from the mind of the people. Why I am going to why I am going to tell you about this thing, that before long ago we found out there was activity, and after the 13th century there was no any activity sources, but in the archaeological sources and the physical presence, many people didn't know that where Lumbini was. But in 1895 and 96, Kharta Shamsher and A. Purar discovered Lumbini and Ashokan pillar. Then archaeological research in Lumbini started only from 1962 onward. I mentioned already that Department of Archaeology was established in 1952, and in 1962 after then archaeological activity started. Then UNESCO enlisted Lumbini at the cultural World Heritage Site in 1997. In 1997, Lumbini was listed as a World Heritage Site. And in 1972, it was long ago, Kenjo Thane, Japanese professor from the Tokyo University, prepared the master plan for Lumbini development, whole development for the Lumbini. And Lumbini whole area is divided into three parts. One is sacred garden where Buddha was born, and other monastic zone, and the other new Lumbini village. That was envisioned by the Professor Kenjo Thane, and it was prepared in 1970. It was started in 1972, and it was completed. The plan was completed in 1978 with the support of the UN. Now this plan is implementing now. An integrated management plan for the whole Lumbini area is being prepared by the Lumbini Development Trust. Government of Nepal has constituted an agency. It's not direct under the government, but it's sort of agency with some sort of autonomy to develop the Lumbini region. And the integrated management plan is being prepared by the Lumbini Development Trust. A new master plan for Greater Lumbini is being developed by Professor Kwak. This is a new event that Professor Kwak, who is a technical assistant of Korean International Cooperation Agency, KOICA. In 1972 to 78, there was a master plan by Professor Kenjo Thane, and right now, Korean government of KOICA has proposed to prepare a new master plan for Greater Lumbini. It is go beyond the master plan was made by Professor Kenjo Thane. It's a bigger or greater Lumbini area. It covers a bigger Lumbini area. So excavation works has been conducted by DOA recently, and Durham University of UK and Lumbini Development Trust for rechecking the chronological of Lumbini. 20 years ago, the chronology history was up to only the 3rd century BC Lumbini. But when we conduct archaeological activities with the support of the Lumbini Development Trust, Durham University, technical support from the Durham University, UK, it has helped us to go back up to the 10th or 11th century BC. That is the recent discoveries or recent activities what we have found in archaeological excavation in Lumbini. So conservation of oath of the Ashokan pillar is being done and ruins of Mayadeti temple is being managed. As I already mentioned that Emperor Ashok visited Lumbini and thus he erected a pillar and engraved or inscribed that Buddha was born on that particular spot. So later on, government of Nepal and other technical people realized that it needs a conservation plan for the Ashokan pillar. So because it is going to crack and this inscription is very difficult, sometimes very difficult to read. It is going to dim. It is not bright as it was before. So there is a conservation work for Ashokan pillar and being done with the Mayadeti temple. The main activities are the protection of marker stone. And later on, after the 1990, we started new archaeological activities in Lumbini, and the great achievement was there we found the marker stone, where that pointed, strictly pinpointed that where this is the place where Buddha was born. We found on the archaeological excavation. So recently we are trying to protect the marker stone and nativity structure, and in the upside there was the nativity structure of the Buddha, and that was also we have a conservation. We are preserving the nativity structure, and when we started the excavation, we found the marker stone, and beyond that we got a brick structure, and we have. I think you have seen the temple of the Mayadeti temple in Lumbini. It is different. Previously it was in different shape, and that was completely dismantled, and new temple is constructed. When new temple was constructed, at that time the excavation was done and the new brick structure was found on the bottom. So the conservation of the brick structure and the Ashokan pillar is under conservation project. So later on, under the JPIT project, JPIT Japanese Fund in Trust project, which is run by the UNESCO. The JPIT is a donor, and UNESCO is running that project with the technical support of the Durham University of UK, and did the first fieldwork in 2011 and proving much earlier date. As I mentioned you that 10 or 20 years ago, the date was only up to the 3rd century BC, but the recent excavation proved that the date goes up to the 1100 BC, and preliminary OSL dating of brick is a very scientific method of dating, has proven, and as per the preliminary chronological sequence of the early occupation. The recent important activity is that before it was only up to the 3rd century BC, but after the excavation, OSL dating of the brick, it has shown that its history goes back up to the 1100 BC. So it is identified early land surface in the Mayadeti temple, and the date is pre-1000 BC, as I already mentioned. The post holes were found under the first brick phase of the construction in the temple as well as around the temple. These all evidence date as much as earlier. So we hope these all will be concluded with the vibrant archaeological evidence with scientific dates that will go beyond the finding and dating of the first field work 1100 BC, but we have to wait for the result that will be most significant result on the Buddhist archaeology, not only in Nepal, South Asia, but for the world. This is the very important findings what we have found here in Lumbini. So the Kapil Vastu, the other area where Buddha has spent his 20 years of life, where his father Suddhodan, his father Suddhodan was there. Kapil Vastu was the prosperous republican state in the pre-Christian era. Siddhartha Gautama was born in Lumbini in 623 BC. What I have to mention here that I haven't prepared a map regarding the Kapilvastu, Lumbini and other places. Kapilvastu is a little bit west from the Lumbini, and there was a royal palace of Siddhartha. Siddhartha was born in Lumbini, but when he was brought up, he was grown up in his royal palace. And Kapilvastu was destroyed by the king of Kosal in the lifetime of the Buddha. Kapilvastu was the prosperous place in the lifetime of Buddha, but there was a dispute between the king of Kosal, and the king of Kosal attacked the Kapilvastu, and it was completely destroyed. Biruda destroyed the Kapilvastu. But till the 13th century, it was in the memory of the people. As like Lumbini I mentioned, up to the 13th century, it was in the memory of the people. There was an activity, and after the 13th century, as like in the Lumbini, the memory of Kapilvastu gradually disappeared from the mind of the people. Same thing happened in Kapilvastu as well. And again, as like in Lumbini in 1895 and 96, Kapilvastu was rediscovered again by the same archaeologists, P.C. Mukherjee, and declared the present Tilorakot is the capital city of the ancient Kapilvastu. And after the Mukherjee, archaeological activity started around the Kapilvastu from 1962 onward. As I mentioned earlier, that it was started, archaeological activity was started in Nepal in 1895 and 96. Then up to the, it was preliminary work for few years, 5 years or 10 years, and then the work was completely stopped. Then next movement take place in the 1962 onward again, and third phase of the archaeology was started after the 1990. So archaeological exploration and excavation conducted in Tilorakot in 1962, 1966 and up to 71, 1974 and 75, 1999 and 2001 to till now. So the excavation around the region proved that human settlement was started there from the Chalcolithic period, which goes back to 1200 to 800 BC. Again, the important things what we have found in Nepal, with the help of the archaeologists from the Durham University, you get technical support of the scholars or archaeologists from the Durham University. You get even in the Kapilvastu, we had fixed the date up to the 3rd century BC. So it has refixed the date of the Buddhist site and Buddhist archaeology in Nepal. So recent discovery has unveiled an iron furnace near the fortification wall of the palace in Tilorakot. The excavation will be continued in the year of 2013 by the same expert team for the new discovery. We are expecting more findings in the new excavation in 2013. So excavation report in Gotihoa near the Kapilvastu and Pipari is published by the ISIAO, the Italian archaeological team, and the Department of Archaeology. It has found the artifact of Chalcolithic culture of the 12th century to the 18th century BC respectively. So findings has refixed the date of main Buddhist sites before 3rd century BC. I have already mentioned that we have it's a great achievement that it has refixed the date of Buddhist Buddhist archaeological sites, especially the birthplace of Buddha and homeland of the Buddha. It was previously up to the 3rd century BC, but it has refixed the date with this new excavation. Regarding the stupa architecture, pre-phase of stupa architecture. Pre-phase means we had excavated the brick structure. Brick structure means the bone brick. But when we excavated recently, then earthen stupa we found there. Is found and dating around the 6th century BC, and which is quite new phenomenon in the Nepalese archaeology. So, resolve urgent conservation program affecting the Ashokan pillar and the marker stone, the nativity. These are the future strategies for. Could you please go forward? Yeah. So these are the future strategies for the Buddhist archaeological sites, especially the Lumbini and Kapilvastu. So, as I mentioned earlier, that we are in the phase of conservation of Ashokan pillar, conservation of marker stone and nativity structure. So, resolve the urgent conservation problem affecting the Ashokan pillar, because we have already excavated the old Mayadari temple was completely dismantled and new temple was constructed. After the new construction, we observe different chemical or technical problem, because that is not fit with the recent ecology. So we are facing different problems. So we have to most focus on Ashokan pillar, conservation of Ashokan pillar, marker stone and the nativity structure. So for the future strategy, we want to put the monitoring system of the Mayadari shelter, which is new built one, not old one, in the place, and determine the future of the shelter on the basis of the impact of the archaeological remains. When we excavated it and when we built the new temple, then under the new temple there is a marker stone, nativity structure and all these things. And what we observed that the brick structure where moisture or like that. Water table come up. So it's a very big problem, big challenge to us. So review of the present state of the sacred garden with respect to the Kanjutangi master plan. Kanjutangi master plan for the Petro Lumbini was developed in 1978 with the support of the UN. But after the 78, many years have passed, so we have to revisit it again. So how to make better Lumbini? So establishment of the integrated management plan. There is no integrated management plan for the whole Lumbini, although it is already enlisted in the whole heritage site. So we are now this integrated management plan is being prepared. So as I already mentioned that Lumbini, the birthplace of Buddha, is already enlisted in the old heritage site, but still the country's legislation has not recognized it as a protect monument zone. We have a ancient monument protection act, so that act should declare the certain particular area as a national heritage. So we are just planning to declare as soon as possible as a protected monument zone in Lumbini area. And the improvement of the knowledge and skill of the material conservation personnel and the archaeological staff in the Department of Archaeology and LGT. So we don't have that much of technical enhanced staff, those who have a better capacity to conserve or to excavate. So in the meantime, we are just planning to capacitate our staff who are involved in the archaeological activity. And the other is the project feasibility, documentary on the archaeological field activities and promotion film as a old heritage property is being made by the National Geographic Channel just to publicize all over the world what we did in the Buddhist archaeological site, and the photo story on the archaeological field activities for the National Geographic magazine. So I think this is all, and I'll address whatever you raise your question later on. So I would like to share a few pictures what we did in archaeological activity, what we did excavated in Buddhist sites. This is the under the Mayadari temple.
Yeah. It is a sacred.
Yeah, sacred garden, where the marker stone was found. The top one is the nativity structure, the sculpture. Okay, thank you all.
Presentation to Mr. Prakash Anna is also from Nepal. He has selected the topic concretely of Buddhism. This is a discussion of called Kodi of Nepal.
Mr. Chairman, delegates from SAARC, respected ladies and gentlemen. I like to, because of time, I like to jump to the points. Maybe let's start from the photo. Okay. So this is the map of Nepal, Lumbini, and east of Lumbini we have Rohini river and Narani river. Between those rivers, the ancient Buddhist texts mention about the Bodhi, where Buddha's mother Mayadevi, his stepmother Gautami Prajapati, and his wife Yasodhara. Three women, they were born in the Bodhi river. Bodhi is Bodhi. That I want to explain the activities of archaeology in Bodhi. Next. Lumbini was a beautiful pleasure garden, Pratimotsyavan, collectively maintained by the Sakis of Kapilavastu and the Bodhis of Devdaha or Ramgram in 7th and 6th century BC, which is located in the Tarai region in the southern part of Nepal. The Buddhist kingdom, as mentioned in Buddhist literature, was situated towards the east of Kapilavastu and on the bank of the river Rohini. Next. The kingdom of Kapilavastu and Devdaha or Ramgram were the pivotal junctions of trade and commerce between the Magadha and Kosala. The ancient highway used to run through Kapilavastu and via Devdaha or Ramgram to the country of Malla. Devdaha is located 35 kilometers northeast of Lumbini. So this is the map we see here Lumbini, and it is Devdaha is on the east north of Lumbini. Next. So this is the Peter of Ashoka in Lumbini, and this is the Brahmi inscription, and this is the Peter right now we see, and this is the old Mayadevi temple, and it was after that temple, and this is the recent Mayadevi temple. So now I want to discuss on history of the 4 days Republican state. The 4 days, one of the Republican clans of the time of the Buddha, had two settlements, one as Ramgram and the other as Devdaha. The Sumangala Bicini tells us of the origin of the 4 days. It is stated that a sage named Rama, an ex-king of Banaras who left his kingdom and retired to a forest as he was detested by his wives and relatives, married the eldest of the 5 daughters of King Okaka, who had been forsaken or abandoned by our relatives and forced to live in a forest, and built a town in that forest, removing a big polity. The city henceforth came to be known as Polanagara, and the descendants of the king came to be known as Bodhi. Next. So, apart from that, Devdaha and Ramgram, we find other cities like Pakkarapattana, Sadanela, Uttara, Kundiya, Sapuga, and Halida Basana. These are mentioned in the different sutta, Majjhima Nikaya, Neta Sutta or Samyukta Nikaya. Next. And just a minute. And in Nepal, the village called Kanida of the ruins named Nipalia, located 7.3 kilometers to the southwest of Lumbini, and Panjari, also to the southwest of Lumbini, on the bank of the river Dano, are the remains of ancient towns. These are the two places of grave site. So, the place where Mayadevi, the mother of Gautam Buddha, was born is mentioned by different names: Kole Nagara, Bakrapur, Devdaha or Ramgram. The Koles of Devdaha are known as the maternal tribe of Gautam Buddha, whereas the bodies of Ram Ram are known as the famous claimants to the relics of the master in Kushinagar. Next. According to the Mahaparinirvana Sutta of Dignayak, Buddha's relics were claimed by the 8 kings, and one of the relics was claimed by bodies of Ram Ram. They built stupa architecture over the relics of Buddha. It is said that also they erected 84,000 stupas opening 7 original stupas, but he could not open the stupa of Ram Ram because it was protected by Naga. Thailand visited the Ram Ram stupa. After walking 5 years in the east of Lumbini, where Gautam Buddha was born, when Sang came to Ram Ram after walking more than 200 days towards east from Lumbini in 7th century AD. The story of Maurya Imperial Ashoka pillar in Lumbini by General Porter Sante, as mentioned by my colleague, it was rediscovered in 1896. The pillar was rediscovered. After that, opened the door of archaeology study in Nepal. Since then, many important Buddhist archaeological sites have been explored and identified. P.C. Mukherjee was the first archaeologist who identified Lumbini and Papyrus in Nepal. He also said that the town of Kodi may be located on the Bagala River, some 17 miles east of Rupandei. Dr. Hoy found well-preserved stupa in 1898 AD. He identified Bhawanipur as Devdaha in Pagotapa in western Nepal, but did not mention anything about the identification of Ram Rama stupa in Deodia, village situated on the bank of Jari River. Next. S.P. Dev published his archaeological investigation in the Nepal Torah in 1964. He said that 3 miles southeast of Parasi was located a huge stupa mound, more than 30 feet in height and nearly 70 feet in diameter. The mound has several poses of well-baked bricks exposed. It is a site for immediate excavation. Babu Krishna Rizal, who excavated Kapilvastu and Lumbini, was in point belief that location of Ram Ram stupa and Anuma River, it is now called Narini River, in or around Triveni, is the calculation of the distance given by Chinese pilgrims. Now, I will talk about the archaeological activities. Panyamai, which is called Devdaha. Devdaha is ancient capital of the Koli kingdom. It is the maternal hometown of Queen Mayadevi, Prajapati Gautami and Princess Yasodhara. Many archaeological sites are located here. Khayardana, Kumarvati, Panyamai, Bairimai, Bhawanipur are the potential sites. Lumbini Development Trust started excavation in Panyamai with the help of Department of Archaeology. Since last year, 2011 AD, 2 trains 10 by 10 meter was laid out where 2 structures of temple appeared. Most of the posts also were red ware, spouted pot, but 3 pieces of grey ware was also listed. Natural soil was found after digging 3.20 meter depth in B square. The latest stone pedestal of Sambat 1157, A Dharma Hetu, inside it has strong influence of first Malla culture of Western Nepal, which earlier in Mayadevi, in Ashok pillar and in Niklehawa pillar, Ripu Malla has inscribed his name. The well has not been dug till its foundation. The most important thing is all the sculptures reported from Panyamai belong to Buddhist sect. Next. So this is the Panyamai excavation. Next. This is the stratigraphy. Next. And this we found the well. Next. And this is the pedestal of a sculpture. I'll show you later. And it has the inscription. This pedestal has the inscription of Sambat 1157. Next. Next. So these are the view of excavated sites. Next. So this is the obliterated store. Next. This is also same. This is the Buddhist of Buddha we found from the trains. Same Buddha. This is the female deity we found from the trains, Panyamai. Next. This is the male figure found from the excavation. Next. This is the terracotta marks. This is also broken marks. This is the female deity found from the excavation. Next. This is the institute of that deity. So this is the Tara found from the excavation. Next. So this is the figurine, PC figurine, annual figurine. Next. So now that trench has been now controlled like this way, preserved. Okay. Next. So this is the location and Maya Devi that is found from Vairi Maya temple, which is 200 meters from Panyamai. Next. This is the location. So the next, I will go to next excavation site that is called Bhawanipur. Yesterday they were mentioned this place as Babur Papa in 1962-80. People believe it as the proper birthplace of Maya Devi. A stone pillar, brick structure on the surface, stone sculptures, Shiva lingas, and the well defined it as a potential archaeological site. Department of Archaeology initiated to establish this site in 2012 AD and found many interesting information. First trench was laid 10 into 6 meters. Two of the walls running east to west. Structure of a room post partition and floor with ramp brickbats was found. Antiquities like terracotta broken animal figurine, red weight pot shells, ritual horses, carved brick, iron nail and broken stone sculpture was found. The trench was dug 2.45 meter depth in southwest side. Different sizes of bricks were discovered, but the largest was 29.5 into 20 into 5 centimeter. Next. The second trench was laid 5 into 3 meter, 12 meter was a stone pillar. After digging 2.4 meter depth, the pillar was identified as Shivalingas. The stone was red sandstone. Its height was 125 and breadth 38 centimeter. Two terracotta bull, stone female sculpture without head, Sri Lakshmi without head, and Ganesh along with iron nails. Fourth was the important findings of the trench. And the third and fourth trench was excavated to find out archaeological evidences. Both trenches was excavated to 70 and 249 meter depth. The finding was very interesting. Terracotta miniature pot, dagger, bead, animal figurine, Sri Lakshmi, charcoal, bone, iron, nail, wattle and dove, and fossil was discovered. Most of the fossils was red ware, but fourth impression was also very interesting. Next. So this is the Bhawanipur site. The wall was already existed, so we try to locate, find what it means for. And this is the partition of the wall. Next. And this is the pillar. People believe that it is the Ashokan pillar like Lumina and Kapivastu, but after the excavation we found that this is the stone of Shivaling. Next. So these two bulls were found from that trench. Next. And this is animal figurine. And this miniature pot is also found from there. And this is the female deity without head. It is holding the chauri. Next. Yeah, it is after the cleaning the sculpture. Next. So this is the Sri Lakshmi without the head. And this is Ganesh found from that stain. And this one is animal figurine from that trench. Next, miniature pot. So this is the stratigraphy of that stone figure. Next. So now this is the PPR code where we found several post hole. Next. Next. So these are the stratigraphy of traits. Next. Here also there are post hole. Next. And this is the water like dove found from PPR third. Next. So this is driver. Next. So now I like to go Ram Stupa. After the death of Buddha, his relics were divided into 8 parts, as I have already mentioned. And Korea king had got one part. They built stupa keeping the relic. After later, Ashoka opened the other 7 stupas, but couldn't open the Ram stupa. He had mentioned Lanmo or Ram when he visited Ram stupa. Pakistan and Hussein, Wensang had visited this stupa in 5th and 7th centuries. They also mentioned Lanmo. It is the distribution of two Chinese pilgrims. The Boyer found it in 1898 AD. Next. A team of geophysicists from Bradford University of the United Kingdom had surveyed in 1997 AD for the first time and found the archaeological surface remains around the mound. Supercyber system of DOA excavated in 1990 to 2004 AD. The natural soil was found in different depths from 2.4 meter to 3 meter from the relative surface of the present ground. The excavation was halted without the achievement of relics of Buddha or such any datable objects. Even though the historicity of the site went up to Mauryan period or even older according to C14 dating, the excavator of that phase is of the opinion that further dig is necessary because it defeats much to the possibility of the to be the Ramgram stupa. Next. So this is the stupa of Ramgram, and this the Subrasagar has excavated. Next. And this is the map drawing of that excavated Ramgram stupa. And this is the structure. So now I would like to the last one, Panditpur. So first stage was excavated 3.10 meter depth or terracotta ring well of Sunga period was discovered. Besides this, northern black polish ware, painted grey ware, bone arrow was also found. Second trench contained many portals. The important discovery of this trench was the Neolithic cell, TC animal figure and painted grey ware. The third trench was more interesting because there was deposition from painted grey ware period to Muslim period. After digging 3.16 meter deep, further could not be excavated due to presence of water. Glass bangle, hull, charcoal for 4 TC% human figure and 2 miniature pot, chassidori, agate, chart, pieces, NDP, grey was the findings. Next. So this is the ring well found from Panditpur 1, same ring well, and this is the second trench where Neolithic set was found. Next, and this is the painted grey ware potsherds. Next, animal figurine. So it is a Neolithic cell. So, and this one is Panditpur third trench. This is the max miniature pot, lead, miniature pot, it's a dagger, human figurine, it's a broken human figurine, it's a grey ware ball, it's a TC human figurine, it's a bead. Okay, now I want to go conclusion. These sites have been selected for trial excavation. So this is the stupa of Ramgram, and this the Subrasagar has excavated. Next. And this is the map drawing of that excavated Ramgram stupa. And this is the structure. So now I would like to the last one, Panditpur. So first stage was excavated 3.10 meter depth or terracotta ring well of Sunga period was discovered. Besides this, northern black polish ware, painted grey ware, bone arrow was also found. Second trench contained many portals. The important discovery of this trench was the Neolithic cell, TC animal figure and painted grey ware. The third trench was more interesting because there was deposition from painted grey ware period to Muslim period. After digging 3.16 meter deep, further could not be excavated due to presence of water. Glass bangle, hull, charcoal for 4 TC% human figure and 2 miniature pot, chassidori, agate, chart, pieces, NDP, grey was the findings. Next. So this is the ring well found from Panditpur 1, same ring well, and this is the second trench where Neolithic set was found. Next, and this is the painted grey ware potsherd. Next, animal figurine. So it is a Neolithic cell. So, and this one is Panditpur third trench. This is the max miniature pot, lead, miniature pot, it's a dagger, human figurine, it's a broken human figurine, it's a gray ball, it's a PC human figurine, it's a bead. Okay, now I want to go conclusion. These sites have been selected for trial exercises.
In Lumbini in March, and I visited the museum in Colombo. There are no relics. Sorry. So I would like to ask you, you pointed out so many relics were found, but where are they? Because they're not in the museum, they're not to be seen anywhere. Where are they? In Lumbini, all I saw were a few, very few sheds of the Asokan pillar, and the rest were all relics, replicas from India, nothing from Nepal. Where are they?
We have kept, we have put in the office of the Lumbini Development Trust.
Where?
In Lumbini. That is not in display of public, display for public.
But you have such a huge museum in Lumbini, which is literally empty. So why don't you display it there?
Yeah. Thank you for your suggestion. We'll try our best to display all this artifact what we have found in Lumbini in the museums. Okay, thank you.
I'm told that the recent discovery is that they're supposed to have taken 7 steps and 7 lotuses are supposed to have sprung up from the earth, and that to represent that some stone lotuses have been discovered underneath, and the 3 are visible. Someone who went there told me that, and that also that at the exact place where the Prince Siddhartha was born, I think under the Maya Devi temple, relics also had been deposited there by the Masoka, the inscription underneath, 20 feet below the ground. I would like to find out about that.
On the sculpture, but not, we haven't found any evidence, archaeological evidence of that. And so far for the relics is not mentioned anywhere in the inscription.
You given the mention.
Has raised the question on it, but so far the rediscovery of Asokan pillar in Lumbini in 1896, it is correct one. The date is correct because there was involved. Our general was also involved. Colonel Samset general was also involved. At that time, he was the governor of Palpa.
Preservation. So, even this SAARC Cultural Center has established recently. After some 2-3 years going on their work, of course, we will be able to do some of the projects that could be helpful for archaeological excavation and preservation in South Asian.
Other than the Asokan pillar,
I mentioned that in 1950, after the establishment of the Department of Archaeology, we started archaeological activities. But I mentioned in the recent discovery, what we have found marker stone in the under the nativity structure under the Maya Devi temple. So that has proved that that is the place where Buddha was born. This is archaeological proven.
how was the marker stone? I think.
So I want to tell you that when Asoka went to Lumbini with his guru, Upagupta said to Asoka that Hida Buddha Jayate. Upagupta told Asoka that this is the place or this is the marker stone where Buddha was born. He had shown that, and it is mentioned in the inscription, Hida Buddha Jayate. It is mentioned in the inscription. That is why that marker stone, when after the demolition of the old temple and the site was excavated and we found the Marco stone. That is in the center, and that is the recognized by Krishna Dev and many archaeologists of India also. They came and said, yes, it is the right place, and this is the Marco stone where Buddha said that this is the place where Buddha was born. And Ashoka then built the stupa on that to say that Marco stone. And that proof has, he has just given you that 1100 BC. Before people say that there is the evidence of only 300 BC only. But now when the UNESCO and the LDT and DOA, they are excavating now, and they have found if the result has not come from the Durham University, Cunningham is involved in this, and he has said that now it is the brick proved to be 1100 BC. That means there is no doubt now.
People, do you know about the springs? Nobody knows about the springs, which are inside the pond. So I do wonder, why is nobody using this piece of evidence and show the ponds, the springs, which are in the pond? So maybe we have to do some changes and show they are still there.
Now, both the sources of water now couldn't be visible, but your solution is very nice. In future, maybe archaeologists will find the solution for it.
That is mainly mentioned in the literary sources, and as you mentioned that archaeological activity will, I think we will try to get more detail on that.
Well, you mentioned that. As we know, the Sridhar was born in Lumbini at the time. So, what is the mainly archaeological excavation in there? And this my deal wish, and also so how its importance and Buddhism or archaeological point of view in China and in Chinese. Because I would like to know what is mainly the archaeology or the Lumbini.
That is the place where Buddha was born, when his mother was pregnant and she wanted to go her maternal home or the Polier, because Polier, Lumbini, as I mentioned here, the Lumbini is the Prodhimatsya born. That is beautiful garden which was between Polier, that was the birthplace of Mayadevi, and Kapilvastu, which was the birthplace of Buddha, which was the capital of Suddhadan. So when Mayadevi was going to her own father's home, on the way, means in Lumbini, she gave birth to Buddha. So that is the prominent place, and that is the most important, because now Buddhism, you have seen, it has been spreading throughout the world, and that Buddha was born in Lumbini. That is the main argument.
We are really proud of the nation about the archaeological point of view. And of course, I'm Buddhist. Can you mention about the Lumbini and Ashoka inscription there?
You want to know what is mentioned in the Ashoka
inscriptions. Lumbini exist or not? I don't know whether exist or not Ashoka inscriptions and pillars. Before I don't hear about Ashoka inscription exist there.
So some said then Army General and E.F. Fuller found out all these things. So I think if you go through the other literature, Buddhist literature, I think definitely you will find that things.
I will add a few more so, okay. In Kapilvastu, 3 Buddha were born. 3 Buddha. Prabhupada Buddha in Bodhisattva, which I have shown you the pillar. But on locally you don't find any inscription on it. Only the pillar is there. And that is the oldest, one of the oldest Chaitya. And another one is Nigli Sagar. And that is the Ashokan pillar, where Ashokan has written that it is the Kanak Muni pillar, where the Rishi Kanak Muni, Gautam, one of the Buddhas is also called Kanak Muni, he was born there. And the stupa was renovated twice larger than the before. And that means that is the inscription of the whole Indian subcontinent. That is the oldest record of restoration. That is the oldest record. Even India also, when they say that which is the oldest record of renovation, they will point it to that Nigli Sagar. That is the oldest one. And that one is also Ashokan. And after the 14th of his birth coronation, he came there, and after 20th, he came to Lumbini and erected a pillar there. That is, we have now 3 Ashokan pillars there. And except the Nigli Sagar, all these 2 pillars are in situ. In situ means it is where the Ashokan has kept. It is not moved from there. Anybody has moved. That is, it is in situ.
Thank you very much. I am very sorry. We are running short of time. I think there are so many participants. They have their own comments and responses, but we are about to wind up this session for lunch. So we have overrun half an hour. So I would like to wind up this session. I thank Mr. Karma from Bhutan, and also Bharat Man, Sabit and Prakash Dane from Nepal, who presented here the situation in Bhutan and Nepal, cultural situation related to Buddhism. And with that, we meet again around 1:30 here for the next session. Okay.